The harp. What a mood setter. Its ethereal sound can carry you away on a cloud. One of my favorite jazz artists, Alice Coltrane, once said, playing the harp made her recall ancient Egypt and seem to remember a past life there. I understand how its music could elicit such a spiritual feeling. You might imagine a harp being played in an elegant ballroom by a musician in evening wear with glasses clinking in the background. Well, what if I told you that this harp music was made by a spider? Well, kind of. It's not an actual spider plucking the strings, it's a human. But it is a harp-like musical instrument built just like a spider's web, with a mechanical spider perched in the middle. It's meant to simulate how spiders use vibrations in their webs to understand the world around them. Scientists at Oregon State University wanted to know more about how these spidey-senses work, so they created the SpiderHarp. I'm Jen Chavez, and this is The Evergreen, a podcast from OPB about the place you call home. Today, how art, science, humans, and spiders meet to create harp music. OPB Oregon Field Guide producer Joel Gilfillan met the scientists behind the SpiderHarp and is here to tell us more about how it works and how cool it sounds. Hey, Joel.
Hey, Jen. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. So, okay, before we dig in, I hear that one of the things that attracted you to this story is that you love spiders. Please tell us about why.
Well, I think like a lot of people who were born and raised here in the Northwest, I mean, we don't have a lot of weird insects or weird reptiles like other places in the country, but we do have spiders. Mm-hmm. So I grew up with lots of spiders, and I think just to make sure that I kept my sanity, I befriended them, or I got used to them. I got comfy with them. And so I was looking for a story about spiders, and I started doing some research, and I found the SpiderHarp, and I'm like, what is this?
Well, I'm so glad you found the SpiderHarp. And for this story, you actually met a kindred spirit who is also fascinated by spiders.
I've always been interested in spiders' motion, able to use silk to swing and dragline. And then with spider webs, I started looking at them as vibrating systems and just got fascinated by everything that was happening and said, oh, I can start looking at how they understand their world through the vibrations.
This is Ross Hatton.
I'm an associate professor of robotics and mechanical engineering at Oregon State University.
With a background like this in robotics and engineering, why is he studying spiders?
That was one of my questions for him, too. Now, Ross is actually, his first love is snakes, which is not my first love. So I skipped right to the spiders.
As a small child, I lobbied to have a pet snake, and my mom deflected that. But I did keep several garter snakes as temporary pets when I was young.
He wants to know more about how these creatures move and how they can give us ideas about how robots could move in the world.
From a robotics perspective, we're involved in what's known as bioinspiration, looking at animals and saying what are the good things that an animal does that we might want to use as a starting point for engineering.
And so he's got a lot of fascinating research about the way snakes slither and the way that spiders have these abilities to read things or see things or hear things in ways that we have trouble understanding. So he dove into the science of spiders.
It surprised me to learn that many web-building spiders have poor eyesight, because, I mean, most spiders have 8 eyes after all, but they make up for it with their other senses. So, okay, say I am a spider, Spider Jen, and a delicious fly, my future dinner, lands on my web. How would I sense what's happening through the web itself?
Spider scientists understand that spiders use vibrations to understand their world. So you would feel a vibration in your web, SpiderGen.
And so when the web shakes, that shakes the foot. And so it's almost like we have an ear listening to each of these radial strands.
And they would be listening to those vibrations to determine, is that to my left, to my right?
If you hear a sound and you look at it, you're balancing the sound between your ears. We can use that to center where the source is coming from. With 8 feet, you can figure out which pairs of feet are centered on the sound.
Is it ahead of me? Is it behind me?
We can combine that with the loudness to determine, is it coming from in front of you or behind you?
Is it close to me? Is it far away from me?
By looking at what frequency the vibration is coming into the feet at, we can tell, is that because there was a pluck near the center and so everything is vibrating at a high frequency, or further out and so everything's vibrating at a lower frequency.
And it's so amazing how the scientists figured out how to use these cues that are coming in through the feet of the spider to give it location information about its prey.
We as humans don't sense the world like spiders do. Guess you could say that human Gen is not as good as picking up vibes as Spider Gen. So how did the SpiderHarp crew translate what spiders experience into something we humans can understand?
It's a great question because we humans, I mean, to some extent we can feel vibrations around us, but it's rare. It's kind of a dull sense for us. So that group of scientists needed to translate that into some sort of analog that humans could interpret. And in the human world, vibrations are often interpreted through our ears.
Our closest understanding of vibrations as humans is sound. And so how can we translate the vibrations that are happening in the web into sound?
So that was their go-to analog, was making it into sound.
We have made it so that the big long strings play low notes and the short little strings play high notes.
And that led to some other interesting scientific questions and artistic ones.
The SpiderHarp is not shaped like a typical harp. It really does look just like a spider web, complete with this mechanical spider in the middle to pick up these signals. So what did the team do to make the SpiderHarp similar to how an actual spider's web would be built?
Well, they focused on what we call orb-weaving spiders, so spiders that weave in a circular pattern. And there's a pretty strong symmetry to those webs. One thing I learned in this story was these orb-weaving spiders create their circular webs using 2 different types of silk. One is the radial lines, the one that start at the center and they go outward. And then there are the spiral elements, and the spiral lines that go from each radial line to each radial line to form that circle are 10 times stretchier. So they had to find real-world components, and they chose parachute cord for the radial lines.
Which is a nylon cord, very stiff.
And they chose, I guess it's called shock cord.
Which is like a hair elastic material with a latex cord that's very stretchy.
It's what I tie my hair up with, you know,
Sort of. I have one on my wrist right now.
So do I. Yeah, so they used that shock cord to form the spiral lines, and that duplicated that 10-to-1 ratio.
Interesting. You know, even with all of this spider to human translation that we're talking about, honestly, it's still a little difficult for me, who is definitely a right-brained individual, to conceptualize. How did you wrap your head around this when you were hearing about it from a very enthusiastic expert?
First of all, I also am very right-brained. I went to art school. I'm a filmmaker. I don't do a lot of math and science. And once in a while, I'll choose a story that I know will be difficult. And those are often the science stories. And this one was one of those. So I had to really just ask Ross, the expert, many times in many different ways in order for me to grasp what was going on. And the theory is if I can understand it, then anyone can.
Coming up after a short break, how did a simulation of a spider's web in a science lab become a musical instrument too. We'll explore how the SpiderHarp blends art and science and hear it played out in the wild when we come back.
So Hatton talked about how he really gets the sciencey aspects of this, but doesn't have as much of a musical background himself, and so was looking for someone to fill that role. Enter his collaborator Chet Udell, a fellow scientist at OSU who has one of the coolest combos of academic backgrounds, in my opinion.
So my PhD is in music composition and electrical engineering.
He originally came to college on a music scholarship and had a realization when he took his first electronic music class.
I figured if I needed to learn how to make cool synthesizers or make dope beats, that it would be good to have a good knowledge of electronic music and the sciences behind that.
Now, one of the many things he does with this cross-disciplinary knowledge is create electronic musical instruments.
Things like lightsaber, electric guitar, a hybrid instrument I call the Optron.
So, how did Udell get involved with the SpiderHarp?
Chet came to OSU in 2016, and this was really after the very first part of the SpiderHarp project was underway. And Ross, I believe, was interviewed by the BBC. And I did a little sleuthing on this, and apparently the BBC had interviewed Ross on video, and I think it might have run on OPB. So we may have had a small hand in that.
I saw a news broadcast of this really cool 4-foot spider web, and I was like, this would be a really cool musical instrument.
And he was immediately fascinated. He had just come to OSU, and he was looking for partners to collaborate with. And so he knew he had to meet Ross Hatton.
Trying to reimagine, like, when is X like Y is a really important question for me. So, like, when is a spider web a harp? And, like, what cool mixtures can we do to create these dreamlike spaces?
There was, like, a undergraduate mixer or something like that for the engineering school, and Chet made a point of going there, and that's when he and Ross met.
And I was like, I know you got this spider web thing, and I think it would be a really cool harp. And Ross was like, yeah, like, I think it would be a really cool harp. Let's do it.
The beginning of a beautiful relationship.
Beautiful relationship.
So what did Udell work on to make the SpiderHarp more like an actual instrument that can be heard and played by a musician?
He, first of all, needed to get the spider to respond quickly enough that he could actually play something on the harp. When he first encountered the SpiderHarp, the mechanical spider was able to interpret one signal or one event about every 5 seconds, which is way too slow for playing anything musical. So he worked with Ross's grad students and their team to get the thing to respond more quickly. It took about a year, and then the mechanical spider was able to recognize 5 signals in a second. So that was fast enough to create a melody or pluck something out. But there are still a couple limitations.
It can only detect one pitch at a time, so you can't simultaneously play in 2 different areas.
You can't pluck 2 strings at once, or the mechanical spider will get confused.
Oh, no, poor mechanical spider. So you got to see and hear the SpiderHarp out in the wild, and it was part science demo and part concert.
I am simultaneously the best SpiderHarp player in the entire world, and I'm also the world's worst SpiderHarp player. So thanks for coming out to see it.
What was the vibe like at this event, Joel?
It was curiosity, you know. It was a beautiful vineyard out in the Willamette Valley, but the concert instrument was this orange spider web. And so I think a lot of people were like, what exactly is going on here? And it was just a fun vibe. There's a clip in our video of this couple saying, "What's that?" And Ross says, Oh, that's a SpiderHarp.
I've never seen anything like
No, this is the only one in the world.
Oh, it is?
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh my God.
Is somebody going to play it pretty soon?
Yes.
People are just super curious. They're super interested. I loved the way that the scientists integrated the entertainment with the science lecture. I thought that was really brilliant because it's so engaging to listen to an instrument, but something this novel, to be able to kind of understand how it works and glimpse behind the curtain was really fun.
Yeah, you had gotten all of these demonstrations inside of a lab at OSU, right, of how the SpiderHarp works in a scientific sense. What did it feel like for you to then experience it at a concert as a musical instrument?
Well, yeah, we had seen demonstrations in the lab, but they were just demonstrations. They were not music. And so I was hearing the SpiderHarp music for the first time, too. And it was fascinating. He created a piece called Fantasia for SpiderHarp, and it incorporates several classical pieces that people will recognize in this very novel way.
Yeah. So Udell really touches on how different worlds converge in the SpiderHarp project.
I think the SpiderHarp is an incredible instrument because it mixes sculpture, robotics, electrical engineering, physics of sound and vibration, mechanical things, music composition, music performance. There's so many intersections of ideas here.
Jewel, I know you've covered both science and art before here at OPB. What was it like to explore something like this that really is both?
Well, I have been reporting on both of these beats for a long time, and I'm always amazed when I find scientists that have this incredible imagination and artists that have this very strong sense of physicality and the science of what's going on in their world. So to see the two combined, it's like you're talking about something from multiple angles, and you're getting more of a rounded or complete sense of what that experience or that thing is. And so I've been thinking a lot about this over the years of reporting on both of these beats. I think it opens a door to a lot of possibilities in the future. I'm sure in the future there'll be even more interesting combinations or partnerships between science and art. I just think that, humans we're constantly evolving, and I love to see the just constant evolution of what we're able to do.
Well, Jewel, learning about this was so cool and so fun for me. Thank you so much for your reporting on this.
Thank you.
Jewel Gilfillan is a producer for Oregon Field Guide. Check out her video and story about the SpiderHarp at opb.org. And you can always catch new episodes of Oregon Field Guide on OPB TV. Thank you for listening to The Evergreen, a podcast from OPB. If you're here listening right now, you are a part of our brand new podcast family. Help us grow by leaving a review on your favorite podcast app. Follow us there and, hey, tell your friends. This episode was produced by yours truly. Our technical director is Stephen Cray. He engineered this episode. The OPB podcast team also includes Julie Sabatier, Mia Estrada, and Sage Van Wing. Jewel Gilfillan, Brandon Swanson, and Zach Carver-Gustin did the interviews you heard. The SpiderHarp sounds you heard were played by Chet Udell and Ross Hatton. The music in this episode is from Audio Network. Thanks so much to all y'all who've reached out to us with comments, questions, and suggestions. If you want to get in touch, hit us up. You can email us at theevergreen@opb.org. I'm Jen Chavez. Catch you later.